Alright, so today I got a interesting box in the mail. Should be the first part for a project that I'm doing here. Gonna do a video on building a computer out of all used computer components. Basically trying to get them all locally. If not locally, then get them off eBay or so anything like that. So this is the first part to arrive. Everything's made kind of based off of this. So I'll go ahead and open up the box. That way you can see what I got. Pretty sure it's at least that. I mean, it did come in a self-made box here. Somebody made this themselves out of their bed that they bought. So this is not a bed. I didn't buy a new bed. I don't think my wife did. And the box is a little bit small to be the bed. But it did come from Michigan, and the only package I ordered from Michigan is going to be this computer part. So this should be it. Maybe a surprise for the video. Who knows? Let's see what we got. The box is already slightly busted open from shipping. That's why you probably shouldn't make your own boxes. There we go, got some more tape on the inside. Alright. Yep. Yeah, this is the computer case here. So I picked this up off of eBay for 50 bucks, which I know you can get like a brand new case, but of a kind of smaller one for less. But I wanted a full-size case, fit more components in there, extra hard drives and crap like that. Plus, the whole point of the build was to do it out of all used parts. I'm still trying to source some of the other parts for the build. Trying to get I've seen a couple of second-gen thread rippers for sale around here, so that's what I plan on using on this video. I mean, not video, but on this build for the computer, because my old AMD FX series 8-core is kind of on its last leg. You know, it's supposed to be an 8-core gig, but it's the FX series. We all know that it's not real. But let's go ahead and get this out of the box and take a look at it. Yeah, he didn't use a lot of packaging material, and as beat up as the box is in this box case. Oh no, it might not be beat up. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Alright, pull this out of there. Oh. Alright, so let's see. Oh, this is disgustingly dirty, so before I start pulling it apart and stuff, I'm gonna stop the recording for a minute and go clean it off, because that is absolutely filthy. I'm pretty sure this guy was a smoker or had pets or something. The filters are just completely clogged up with this like brown looking smooth, but I kind of expected that for a used case. You know, they can be kind of gross. A lot of people don't take care of their IT gear and just let dust build up and they get filthy. I've gotten used computers before that the whole CPU heatsink was just completely filled with nastiness. It's been a while since I got one that gross. People are getting a little more educated and realizing, you know, you should clean out the dust so that way your stuff doesn't fail prematurely. But apparently this guy never has cleaned the case. That is really gross. I don't want to mess around with it without at least wiping it down and maybe get the compressed air through it. So let me do that, and then I'll get back to recording. Cleaning out all the filth, and I noticed I'm missing some cables here, but then when I came in closer to figure out what was going on, found that the eSATA connection's busted too. The seller wasn't selling this as parts are broken, he was selling this as used, so I'm definitely going to contact him. And I don't think you can see it in the camera, but there's some bent pins on the USB headers too, so I guess he decided to rip out all the cables and keep them for no reason, so I'll be contacting him about that, because hopefully he'll just send me the cables and stuff. The eSATA is really disappointing, because I actually do use eSATA. I know a lot of people don't, but I use it. I have a couple of external hard drives that use it, so I'm probably going to upgrade those hard drives soon anyways, but that's really disappointing. I'm going to get this apart for that. I just wanted to capture it in the box like that before I pull it out, so nobody can claim that I did this. It Case is cleaning up all right. The guy's just a slob that had it before. It's really gross, but yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Definitely gonna have to contact him. Hopefully he'll take it and make it right though. Okay, so it's been a couple of days now. I'm back to recording on this. So update on the case before I keep pushing in on this. Basically, as you can see, that it had some broken connectors, missing parts. Uh, Filed a claim on eBay, just trying to return it to the guy because honestly, it's not worth the effort for me to chase down all these extra parts and everything for it. And he's going in on it and basically stalling, trying not to do a return. So I guess we're gonna do some video evidence here for this video is definitely taking a change, of course. This is not gonna be on this entire build. This is probably gonna be on how good eBay's buyer protection is because I use eBay regularly and I have had to use the buyer protection once before, so I already know how the process goes, and it's an unfortunate thing to have to use, and I feel like it's kind of harsh on the seller sometimes if they won't come to a decent resolution, but it's important and it's really good. So let's get into this though and see what's wrong with this case. So first thing, it's kind of a chintzy feature I didn't really care about on here, but he sold this case as a fully functional case. You know, he didn't sell it as parts not working. So let's get into everything wrong with this. So let me go ahead and turn on the power supply here. I got it set to 12 volts because it's what the yellow and black is on here. Power supply. So red and black in a power supply for a computer for your desktop is 5 volts, and yellow and black is 12 volts. Just simple thing. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And so we can see it will turn on the lights, but it will not rotate the fan in any setting. We can go all the way fan all the way down, fan all the way up, but it'll turn on and off the light. So the 5 volt portion of it's working, even though it's 12 volts in. But the controller does not work. And this is the fan out of the case. So yeah, it won't rotate the fan. I gotta, there we go. I'll just sit there and spin it all the time, right? That'll be my fan. And just to show you that the fan itself does in fact work. Let's go ahead and unplug it. See, it's all hooked up properly. It's going through the connection there. Let's see here. So yellow is the first pin, and black is the second one. So there you go. We got fan spin. Louis Rossman would be proud. We have fan spin. This is clearly fixed. All right. Yeah. No. So yeah. So fan controller broken. Doesn't function. Non-functional. So there we go. Already got a 4-part or broken thing. This is not, or well, 4 parts or repair. I can't remember what they say. It's either 4 parts or broken or 4 parts or repair. Whatever. That's what they do. Okay, so then second problem, which this one's a pretty minor problem, not a huge deal to me. The headers are all bent from him ripping out the cables. What is a big deal to me, though, is the fact that he didn't even include the cables. That's part of the case. It's not part of the motherboard. They don't come with the motherboard. When you buy a computer case, it comes with the header cables. I could care less about this FireWire connection. If that was the only thing wrong with it, we wouldn't have any issues here. I wouldn't even be trying to return it. But the USB headers, even though they're USB 2, it's still nice to have functioning USB headers in the front. Would I have used a USB 3 expansion? Most likely, I probably would have, but I just still kept my USB 2s because most motherboards still include a connection for your USB 2 stuff anyways. So I would have utilized these just because I don't like having stuff on the case that's not functional. But one that's another big deal to me is this eSATA connector. I mean, it is completely busted and gone. I'm not sure if the camera is catching that, but see how there's just no plastic left for the connector. There's nothing there. I do use the eSATA, and unfortunately, a lot of motherboards aren't including that anymore on the back. But I have a couple of eSATA hard drives that I like to use. That one is very unfortunate. It's something that actually bothers me. So this is what I initially contacted him about. He said, well, it worked for me. That was his response. I'll pull these all up in just a minute. But yeah, his response to it was, well, they worked for me. That's cool. They don't work for me. They're not functional at all. They're broken, and you didn't include the parts. The cables weren't included. It's part of the the case here. So the claim I'm filing against this guy is that item is not as described, because the item's not as described. He's described it as used, fully functional, um, and it's clearly not fully functional. Like, the only part of the case that has anything to break, everything's broken on. A case is not just a box. He's claiming, well, it still functions as a case because it's a box and you can still put parts in it. Well, I mean, well, then a cardboard box you sent. If you just mailed me just the cardboard box you sent this in and nothing else, you didn't put anything else in there, and that's your argument. Fuck, you're right. That's a fully functioning computer case. I can throw all my parts in there and they will work. I won't have a power button, but I can modify that the cardboard box you sent me, and run a computer out of it. So yeah, this guy's argument's completely bogus. He clearly knew it was broken too. I mean, you can't break a connector like that and not know that he broke it, because you'd hear little pieces of plastic crumble in there unless this guy's deaf. I mean, oh, and this is one of the few parts I didn't clean. Look at how filthy this is. Like, come on, the whole inside of this case. Like, this grill was just covered in that nastiness. But I'm not gonna sit here and fiddle with it all gross like that. I had to clean it with some compressed air. It was just so disgusting. Like, this guy's clearly he either deep fries something every night or he's a smoker, because that dust is like oily on there. Pretty sure that's just smoke tar. Ugh, gross. Why do people still smoke? It's 2019. It's time to quit. Give up that disgusting habit. But yeah, so this case is definitely not a fully functional case. So I'm gonna stop recording for a second, so that way I can pull up the screen, show you our conversation back and forth. So the only attempt at a resolution he's done is he's tried to give me half my money back. But at this point, I don't want his stupid case anymore. Like, just find something else. I mean, at $50, I could have bought a brand new case. The whole point of this was to do a build where everything's used. This is really off put me, because the whole point of doing this was to show that it's financially viable to build a computer out of all used or open box components. I wasn't planning on using a used motherboard or processor. I was going to get probably not video card too, because I'm trying to get some latest stuff. So it's all probably going to be open box there. But everything else I was going to try to get used for it, and show that, hey, I can, 2019, you can build a top of the line computer with all used components, and this was going to be the oldest component in there. I already had a power supply laying around from an old build. It's 850 watt. It's a pretty good power supply. And I have some hard drives laying around. I ordered a NVMe hard drive off of eBay. Used one, came out of a laptop or something, but still, the price, just trying to show that it can be done. But this has really off-put me from this whole project, because I deal on eBay a lot, and I'm used to dealing with, some of the sellers on eBay. They can be kind of shady, but I've never had one this, like, just blatantly lying. And because there's no way you didn't know you broke this connector. That's just like, you'd be a total doofus if you broke this and didn't know it. There's no way you didn't know that this fan controller was broken, because this is the fan from the front of the computer. It was still plugged into it, so you would have known that that wasn't functional. Well, I don't know. He might not have known because it was so gross you couldn't see past the filter. You might not have been able to see the fan not working. He may not have known this was broken, but I'm pretty sure he knew this was not functional. And the only cable you included was the one for the headphone jack. You didn't even leave the LED cables. Like, why did you take the LED cables? Are generally specific to their I/O panels. Like, they always have different little ones here. So why would you even take this off? This makes no sense. Why'd you take this off? That's weird. You're being weird, dude. Why? Yeah. This is a part or broken. So off my rant of this, let's go take a look at what he has to say. So let me switch over to that. All right. So the first message below this is just me reporting it as broken. I'm not going to include it because it shows his mailing address and stuff. But here you can kind of see our stuff. So he says, worked fine for me, was his response to me saying that, hey, this stuff was broken. By the way, it's been a couple of days now since I recorded the last thing. So I recorded the fan being broken, but I didn't tell him right away because I wasn't worried about it. Like, the really only thing that I cared about were the broken connectors or missed cables. So his response says, worked fine for me. So I said, are you blind? I mean, I attached photos where you can see the broken connector and the missing cables. Then I responded again. I was like, okay, I got my microscope out and took a picture under the microscope of the broken connector so you can like clearly see that it's broken. USB hub, everything. This listing's fraudulent. That's pretty much what I said there. So he offered to refund $25. I don't want a partial refund on this. I really just want you to take it back. I'm not going to keep it. Just take the stupid thing back. He says, okay, you're more than welcome to send the case back. However, he did not provide me a shipping label. Never just mail stuff back to them because then it is not tracked in eBay. So don't do this. What he's talking about there is he's wanting me to mail it back on my dollar, and he's also not wanting to track it through eBay. So this is how he'll just get this back and then never refund me, and then I'll have to go through the whole process with eBay. eBay would still take care of me. I'd still be covered. It'd just be a little bit harder to argue because then I wouldn't even have anything to show for it. So then he goes, the case is, or no, so I responded like, hey, the case was not damaged in shipping because he's kind of trying to pass it off on the shipper in this one. I think this was the one. He tried to pass it off on the shippers. We're like, oh, it worked when I had it, but then it was broken when it got to you. Must have been a shipping problem. So then he goes, because you can send it back again. He said it again. He said you can send it back again, even though he still hasn't provided a return label. So again, he's trying to get me to ship it back on my dime. But what's really the main problem with that is the fact that first of all, he's wasted my time and money. Now I'm not gonna pay to ship it back to him at this point because if he had listed it properly, and this wouldn't be an issue. If I bought it knowing it was parts and broken, I wouldn't have bought it, had he listed that. So this isn't an issue. I should not have to pay for his problems. This is his fault. Not going to pay for it, sorry. I probably would have been more willing to work with him, but he started to get kind of rude with it. So then we're going to skip a couple because it's just going back and forth, same stuff. So then this is the seller's response, seller sent this message to you. It's outrageous you're spending this much time arguing over an eSATA connector. You're not even going to utilize that in your build. So he's just making assumptions now of what I'm going to use. You're literally raising issues over something that you're not even going to use. I know you're going to put a USB 3 expansion card, and yeah, like he knows what I'm going to do. I mean, yeah, he's right. I'm going to put a USB expansion card in there. I'm not a fucking idiot. But I still wanted the USB 2 ones to function. So, yeah, but okay, whatever. Besides the point. So, yeah. So you're going to, because if you, where was I at? All right. USB expansion card, and use that, because if you didn't, well, then you have a peanut brain. So, again, this will work for any used PC build. Its fully functional case was fully functional for me. Buyer bent the pins and can straighten the pins easily. If he must use a connector, he will never use. What? I don't know what that means. But yeah, okay, yeah, he is correct. I can very easily bend back these pins that he bent. I didn't bend them. They were bent when I got them. And you can even see, they're all bent in the same direction. So somebody yanked on a cable and took it out. Yes, I can straighten the pins. I can even go do my homework and go find the new connectors and order them. But that's more money I have to spend. I'm not going to spend more money on this case. I already spent $55 on a used case that's pretty beat up, I've only bought it to, prove a point that I can build this. Yeah. I can go spend $45 on a brand new case that won't have any of these problems. It's a little smaller case. It'll be a mid tower. This is a full tower. But, Yeah, he doesn't have a point there. He really doesn't. So then I go in, and I go, you're clearly stalling at this point because he is. He's trying to stall. And then you kind of skip down. If you want to pause and read all of it, you can. But then I went with a bullet list, of everything missing and broken. So one missing hard drive and power LED cable. Two missing USB header cables, one missing FireWire header cable, which I'm never going to use, but it's still a missing part. One missing eSATA cable, one broken eSATA connector, one broken fan controller, one missing water grommet. I'm not going to use the water cooler grommet, but since he's trying to nitpick and say that this isn't broken, I'm going to go item by item, everything you're missing. 6 PCI covers. He included one out of the 7. It used 7. There was one out of the 7. One DVD drive stuck in the 5.25-inch bay because of stripped screws. He stripped out the heads of the screws. If this guy's going to steal cables, he's not just going to leave a DVD drive in there. Well, it's not. It's still in there for a reason. He couldn't unscrew it. Plus, it's an IDE DVD read, right? So no one's going to use that. But he didn't leave it in there because he's IDE. He's so cheap he keeps cables. He would have taken that DVD drive out if he could have got it out. But he stripped the screws. I mean, you could have easily got it out with a drill, and that's how I'm going to get it out if I'm stuck with this case. But that's besides the point. You sold this as fully functional. So then after all of this went down, I started looking into like his reviews and stuff on eBay, and one of his more recent sells was on a router modem combo. Sold it. He had a bad review left on him for that one because the Wi-Fi portion of this router didn't work. So he has a history of doing this. I wish I'd caught that before buying this item. But yeah, so up top here you can see all the photos I attached. So here's kind of the first photo where you can clearly see the broken eSATA connector that in his very first response was like, hey, it's not broken. Like, oh god, you can see it. This is like the first thing I sent him. You can see the bent connectors on there. Which that photo doesn't really capture it to the level as you can see. And then here is a photo of the eSATA connector under the microscope. That's when I was like, are you blind? Like, come on, I sent you this, where it's kind of blurry because I didn't really care. I knew that this is enough to see that the broken plastic support under there is not even there. So yeah, this is clearly broken, and I sent this to the seller. He's acting like, so there you go. I've straightened the pins out a little bit since I took it out of the case because I was just like, oh god, that's so ugly. Here is the case again, just a photo showing him that the case was not damaged in shipping. It's not all busted or anything. I took it inside for photos. You can see right here, like what did he even do here? Like grab pliers and bent it back. Why would you do that? But not a complaint I'm complaining about. It doesn't really affect the functionality. Just kind of weird. You see how filthy it is in that photo. And then this is just like a photo of what that connector should look like, because he's saying, it's not broken, and then so I attached a photo of what it should look like. And yeah, he offered a partial refund of $25, and I was like, nope, not keeping this thing for $25. You can either provide a return label. I'll mail it back to you for a full refund. And if you just want to save money and do a full refund, that's perfectly fine. I'm probably not going to use this case. It's probably going to go on Facebook Marketplace for free for whatever teenager wants to build themselves a computer. Because at this point, it's so annoying to have an I/O panel that just doesn't work. Call me OCD, but I want like all the ports on my computer to function, and if they're not functioning, I'm gonna want to fix them. Maybe I'll, if I get stuck with keeping the case and I don't do a, because that's kind of how. Let me go ahead and switch this back over. All right, so let me know down in the comments if I'm being ridiculous on this, but for real, like it's he sold something that's broken as used and fully functional. I didn't want to deal with the headache of this. I really just want to return it to him and get my money back. He can replace those connectors, replace the cables, and then sell it again to somebody else. Sell it for more. Sell it as local pickup only so you don't have to pay for shipping. I don't care how you make more money off of it, but God, this is, oof. That's some nasty sweat there, sticking that to the face. That looks gross. Okay, back focus. Oh, look at how bald I am. I'm losing my hair. Let's focus on the video at hand, though. Yeah, so this guy needs to, just do the right thing, do a refund. Sorry, I just keep looking over at the case. It's sitting over there, pissing me off. But God, this guy really, if he, let's turn this into a productive portion here. Let's quit ranting about this case and talk about how you sell stuff on eBay, and you avoid this whole problem. So if you have an item that is questionable, first of all, I personally don't sell them on eBay. So if I have like any concern about an item, I'm not going to sell it on eBay. I'm going to sell it locally, so that way if there's a problem, it's easier for me to handle it. I can just go over to their house, help them out with whatever's going on, or they can bring it to me, no big deal, help them out, fix whatever's wrong with it if it gives them problems. You don't have to deal with the shipping and all of those problems. So, and this was from Ann Arbor, Michigan, is where he mailed this from, so it's not like there's no community to try to sell stuff to there. It's a pretty big town. So, yeah, this case, he shouldn't have ever sold it on eBay in the first place, unless he was going to put it under the 4 parts or repair section, or 4 parts are broken. I can't remember how eBay lists it. Because then first of all, I couldn't make a claim against him on it because that's as described. It's described as broken, but that's not what he did. He sold it as used, fully functional, which is just wrong. He shouldn't have done that in the first place. And so, if it wasn't me who bought it, hopefully whoever else would have bought it would have handled it in the same way, because you shouldn't let these sellers get away with it. When you let them get away with it, they just continue to do it. Like he's got quite a few buying reviews on eBay. Like almost all his reviews are him buying items. He's only got a couple where he sold it, so he hasn't sold a lot yet. So he probably just doesn't know what he's doing on eBay. He probably doesn't realize that you can't do this on eBay. And the eBay buyer's protection, all what's going to happen is after 7 days of him not doing anything, what they're going to do is they're going to step in, they're going to look at the photographs that I've provided, and they're going to rule in my favor. They almost always rule in the buyer's favor anyways, but don't count on that. If you get something that's faulty, make sure you document it with photographs, show like, hey, this is this way, this is that way, this isn't as described, and like copy and paste out of their description. That's what I did in there. You'll see there's some quotes in there of the item description and everything. This is like, like this is a fully functioning case is what it says in there. So I copy and paste that, and then these are all the things that don't function. So I've documented all my problems I have with it. Yeah, maybe I make it a big deal out of this. It's a $50 case. Well, $55 is what I spend on it, in free shipping. So I got it for a reasonable deal. But I didn't buy something for repair. I wasn't trying to repair it. I didn't want to deal with repairing it. I don't want to source a eSATA connector. I really don't want to have to source all those cables for it, because the price is going to add up. They're probably going to be. I'd venture to guess after shipping, each cable is going to be like $10. So it'd probably be $30. Because the item itself is going to be $2 or $3, and then it's going to be like $5 for shipping. So they're like $8 a piece on the cables. If I can even source that LED one, like I don't know where I'm going to even find that. But the that fan controller, I'm sure it's the potentiometer on there that's fried. Maybe the voltage regulator, but probably I don't think the voltage regulator is fried, because it's got 12 volts going in, 5 volts coming out for the LEDs. So I think it's probably the potentiometer that's fried on it. But I don't want to have to figure out what exact part that is. I didn't see a part number written on it, so I don't want to try to source that and repair it. It bothers me to have stuff that doesn't work. The power button also sticks when you press it. Like every other time you push it, it gets stuck down. Probably can just clean it, but again, I bought this to be something quick to put together and make a video. I don't really have time to mess around with it, but now I've wasted, what was that, the 31st is when I started, so I've wasted 3 days arguing with this guy trying to get a refund, plus I wasted the time I was waiting on shipping to then find it's broken. So I've wasted about a week of my time on this whole thing for this build, so this pushes everything back. Uh, and I got frustrated with the whole thing. I'm not even building a computer to use parts anymore. I'm still going to use the NVMe drive that I ordered. I'm still going to use the power supply that I have. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for a case right now. I mean, who knows? I might get stuck with this one, and then I'll just use it, I guess, and just hate it for all of eternity until I find a suitable replacement. But where was I going with it? Oh yeah, so I've already ordered all the computer parts. I went with a Gen 3 Ryzen 7, I think was what it was, and then I got the new AMD video card and the a new motherboard. So I went with all just new components because I was just frustrated. I was tired of waiting on it. I really need to do a new computer over there. My computer struggles to encode these videos. I'm sure I got like tons of drop frames that I'm not noticing, stuff like that. Because it's an older build. I built it back in 2012, I think. So got a little age to it. It's time for me to replace it and do something new. I also just need some more slots because I need to get a HDMI camera for my microscope, and then get an HDMI capture card in there, and some other stuff. So I just I'm just gonna upgrade. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Hopefully, you kind of picked up some useful tidbits on how to sell on eBay. Like, just don't sell things as used if they don't function. Definitely don't sell things as refurbished if they don't function. If it's used and not refurbished, don't list it as refurbished. You know, it's kind of common sense stuff, but also be very, like, when you're going through listing all the defects, like make sure you check everything. And if he had listed like, hey, used, but this doesn't function, that doesn't function, I wouldn't have a claim against him. But he didn't go have any itemized list of like, hey, this is what's wrong with it. So make sure, like, if you're going to sell something that has problems with it, you note that in the description. So in the description, just be like, hey, you know, the fan controller doesn't work and the eSATA connector's broken, missing cables, you know, parts missing. You know, just make sure you list that stuff and you can sell it. I choose not to do that on eBay because I don't want to deal with the hassle of, you know, somebody filing a claim against me. Because more often than not, eBay's going to side with the buyer, not the seller. Um, that's just how it goes, you know. I'm sure everyone here has dealt with a buyer that has made a false claim against them. I have. I've had a claim against me on on an item that he said it was broken in shipping. I accepted a return on it. I got it back from him, and it wasn't broken. There was nothing wrong with it. I think he just had buyer's remorse, didn't want it, or the customer that he had. It was a main board to a Vizio TV. So yeah, filed a he filed a return with me. I accepted the return, even though I had it set as no returns, because he said it got damaged in shipping, and I didn't put any insurance on the package, so I wasn't going to try to file a claim with the. Well, I guess I could have filed a claim with the post office because it was a flat rate shipping box that I shipped it in, so it already had insurance. I just didn't want to deal with the headache. I just accepted the return. I ate the cost of shipping. It was like $14 both ways. So yeah, it was $7 to get it to him, $7 to get it back. So I ate a $14 loss on that one. He made a false claim. It wasn't broken. He didn't attach any photos. I didn't ask for any, so that's my fault. So I'm sure everybody on here has a story of somebody filing a false claim, but this is not a false claim. This guy really did just sell me a piece of shit and expects me to eat it, and I'm not gonna eat shit. So, especially if you're gonna start name calling on there, like I was kind of willing to cut him a break, and if he offered me like 75% back, I would have just accepted it to be done with the headache. But now that he wants to call me a peanut brain, well, this peanut brain's gonna be a pain in your ass. So yeah. God, who calls somebody a peanut brain on eBay? That's crazy. So, all right. Well, I hope you learned something. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I monetize this channel so that way these idiots I'm dealing with on eBay can the YouTube can pay for that hassle. But yeah, so like and subscribe. See you next time.